All right, all righty. We are live in all the places. Listen, I first want to start. We all know the news, right? The latest news on Friday, it was announced that Target is the latest to jump ship. Target is the latest to jump ship. So we know that there are a growing and ever growing list of corporations that have rejected DEI. We know that within Trump's first full 24 hours in office, he basically eliminated it throughout the federal government, immediately putting employees who work in that space. Let me just tell you how insidious this was and how insidious he was in how he did this. Not only did he immediately put all DEI professionals throughout the federal government on leave immediately as he's preparing to fire them, they also sent out communications to all federal employees to basically telling them to turn in anybody that they know whose job in any way, shape, or form contributed to diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts. Think about that for a minute. What does that sound like? Okay. And it immediately ended, we know, by 5 o'clock on Wednesday, all of the diversity, equity, inclusion offices throughout the federal government. We know now that every day it almost feels like there's another company coming out, absolutely, Marianne, that has saying that they are rolling back their DE&I efforts. Happy Saturday to you too, Dee. And the latest to really get traction that we, latest major company to do so has been Target. Target's trying to sort of, it looks like to me, straddle a little bit. They're kind of saying that they want to continue their work and belonging, and they want to keep their employee resource groups, even though they may be naming them something else. But the bottom line is they are ending their supplier diversity effort that's been very, very successful over the past several years in making sure that businesses had shelf space on Target, okay, Black businesses specifically. So I say all this to say, I want to give you a little good news today. I want to give you the good news today. And the good news today is good news that I want us to take to heart, and I want us to match this energy. We need to match this energy. So I want you to, first of all, before I give you the good news, I want to put this into context. I want you to understand that this is not accidental. This is a coordinated effort that has been going on for years. Can somebody put years for me in the comment? This is a coordinated effort that's been going on for years. So let me ask you a quick question. How many of you here have heard of a company? Okay, let me see if I can find this really quick. Hold on, I just had it up here. I want to make sure I get it for you. Okay. How many of you here have heard of an organization that has been called, let me get it right, because I don't want to mess it up. Because I will say one thing about, okay, here we go. The American Alliance for Equal Rights. Any of you heard of this organization called the American Alliance for Equal Rights? Anyone? Okay. Let me tell you what the American Alliance for Equal Rights has been up to. Now, first of all, I want you to notice that the name of this company, this organization. Hey there, Rhonda, how you doing? Beautiful Life has heard of it. Wonderful. It sounds so right. It sounds so fair. And I want you to know that that is part of the strategy. Let me give you a little bit of my background in terms of how I know about how these people operate. Believe it or not, though I look like let's see, we're in 25. This 25 means I am 25 years post graduate school. I received my PhD in the year 2000. And way back then, I wrote a dissertation on the attacks against affirmative action in higher education. That's what my dissertation was about in 2000. 25 years later, they finally did it fully. I mean, they were chipping away at it then. And one of the ways and one of the tactics that they used then, they have refined and improved and made it that much more effective today. What they were doing back then, for example, when we're talking about affirmative action in higher education, and I'm going to make all of this make sense in a minute because it's the same people behind it. Okay. The same people that were behind it then are behind what we're going through now. So that's the through line. Okay. But what they were doing then, for example, with affirmative action in higher education, they would find some mediocre ass white girl who had like C grades and have her sue certain colleges or universities claiming that she should have gotten in but for affirmative action. Notice that they were very intentional to choose white women because they wanted to make white women the victims. Okay. Now, they were able to get some victories in certain areas of the country, but they weren't until recently, until this Supreme Court that Trump was able to pack. That was the first time that they were able to get a ruling on their side from the Supreme Court. But when they were winning at the sort of regional level back in the day, what they would do is they would do things like put ballot initiatives on in different elections in different states, and they would word it using similar language about equal opportunity. But actually, what they were trying to do was to eliminate the ability of colleges and universities to use affirmative action in order to provide true equal opportunity. Because if there really was equal opportunity, there'd be no damn reason to have it in the first damn place. Right? So I say all that to say, fast forward a few years and they're still being that insidious. They're still being that slick, but they're much more coordinated. Okay. So now instead of they're having a multi-pronged attack. Now it's not just having lawsuits in certain areas with the hope that it'll make its way all the way up to the Supreme Court, which, by the way, they're not even creative enough to come up with that strategy. Because what they did there was they copied the strategy that civil rights activists used in the 1960s, ironically enough, in order to fight freaking segregation. So the same strategies that were used that eventually resulted in the the Brown v. Board of Education decision and things like that, right? They've copied that to tear down the rights, right, that ultimately were garnered as a result of those efforts. Now look at what's happening right now. Right now, in addition to this, absolutely, Rhonda. Right now, in addition to this, what they are doing, in addition to the court battles, they are also going directly to state legislatures. And they're doing things like literally giving them the text of bills that they want them to introduce and turn into law. This is not new either. Do you guys remember the Stand Your Ground law that led to Trayvon Martin's murder? Y'all remember that? Well, how that came about was you had a conservative group come up with this piece of legislation, Stand Your Ground, and then they would connect with different Republican lawmakers in states all across this nation, and they would literally take that legislation verbatim, word for word, introduce it in those state legislatures, and have them passed all across the country. They are doing the same thing, or have been doing the same thing now with regards to DE&I, to the point that as we stand here today, 41 out of 50 states have introduced or either passed laws to eliminate DEI within the state, to make it illegal. Now, we haven't even gotten to what's happening now yet, have we? All along this way, you've also had the very same organization sue the Fearless Fund and win. Okay. Which was which, they've changed some things around, but they both, Fearless Fund has changed some things around, but ultimately, let's just be real. They won. And they forced them to eliminate a program that they had meant to provide more capital to Black women business owners, because Black women business owners only get, it's like less than 1% of all venture capital. But no, that's too damn much for these people. Okay. Absolutely right. Beautiful life. Absolutely right. Deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender. Absolutely. Darvo. Now move forward. Now they've planned, they've plotted, they put their plans right in black and white. It was all there in Project 2025, which is why so many of us fought so hard to win this past election. But now here we are. Okay. Now we have state legislatures who have made it illegal in many states across the nation. We've had specific attacks on organizations like the Fearless Fund to gut the ability for Black women-owned businesses who are already underfunded to get the capital that they need to thrive. And now what they have done is they have basically helped with their friends, because remember, he's also, by the way, the founder of this organization works at the same organization that created Project 2025. Okay. And so they have the roadmap for them, and that's all they're doing is implementing it. But here's the point I want you to understand. And this is the point that I've been saying from day one, ever since I've been talking to you all about this. This is not just about DEI. This is not, they are not going to stop here. I want you to understand that when, for example, Roe was overturned, I want you to understand that was not the end of their agenda. And no matter what side of the abortion pendulum you fall on in terms of what you personally do in your own life, in your own business, I want you to understand that that was a very, very seminal moment, because that was the first time in this nation's history that a Supreme Court decision was used to revoke rights rather than to expand rights. And I want you to understand that that was just the first one that they wanted to revoke. And this is what, anyone that had two brain cells could understand, that that was not going to be the end. That was just the beginning. And so I want you to understand that what's going on right now with this attack against DE&I is these same people are going to these corporations and threatening to do to them what they did to the Fearless Fund if they don't eliminate their DE&I initiatives. They are threatening to sue them. They are threatening to, put them under all sorts of scrutiny and litigation and make them waste all sorts of money with litigation if they don't move forward. And people are, a lot of organizations. Now, I will say for some of those organizations, they were already leaning in that direction in the first place. So this just gives them cover to be able to do it. For others, it may be a bit of, they're looking at the writing on the wall and they're seeing that there is Beelzebub in office. There is the Supreme Court that he's stacked, and they understand that, the odds are against them in terms of winning in court. But then there are some people that are just like, that have FU money and that have balls and are saying, fuck you, I'm going to do it anyway. So I want to talk a little, that's the good news I want to give you today. All of the companies are not falling like Target and McDonald's and Meta and all of these other, wimpy organizations. Exactly. We have companies like Costco that are saying, oh, hail to the no. As that's exactly where I was going. JP Morgan. You will notice that this particular, what I've entitled this little discussion with you today, is called Bring It On. And I'm using that term specifically because Jamie Dimon, who is the CEO of JP Morgan and Chase, was just asked about this the other day in an interview that he did. He has been contacted by the same organization that's running around the country trying to intimidate everybody else to get rid of their DEI programs. And you know what he said? Do you know what he told them? He said, bring it on. Bring it on. He ain't changing ish. Bring it on. I am sharing this with you because I want you to know that's our energy too. Bring it on. I was just thinking today, you all, I miss my father every day. Those who know me know that I'm really a super big daddy's girl. Obviously, at this point, unfortunately, in my life, I'm missing my father and my mother, but particularly in moments like this, I especially miss my father. And I miss my father for a couple of, I could always count on him in times that were challenging to give me wisdom, to give me good direction. And I especially miss him in this moment because I feel like what we're experiencing now is very similar to the moment that he experienced as he was growing his business. Like those who know me know I told the story a gazillion times. My father built his business during Jim Crow. Built a very successful business during Jim Crow. Was able to keep that business, have that business grow, be very, very successful, had it for over 40 years, sold it, and still lived out the rest of his life happy and, healthy until the age of 89. So I'm thinking that I was really thinking today, he was able to start and grow his business in a moment in which they're trying to bring us back to. Because that's exactly what's happening. I want you to understand their target is not DEI. Their target is the revocation, if that's a word, revoke. They want to revoke. They want to eliminate. They want to roll back civil rights writ large. They want to tear away all civil rights protections that our ancestors, our mothers, our fathers, our grandmas, our granddads fought and died for. That is the target. It's really bigger than DEI. But by going directly at this, what they're looking to do is to completely eliminate the Black middle class and do as much that damage as they can to the Black business sector. They are really trying to undermine the success of Black businesses. They're trying to completely obliterate our economic power. This is the reality of what we're facing in this moment. I cannot be more clear about that. That to me is as clear as the day is long. So I come here to say the reason why, and I feel so, I will say I have come to trust my intuition over the years. I have come to trust my inner being and my inner knowing over the years, even when it doesn't make logical sense. And I say that to say, in this moment, there are a lot of things that I could be doing with my time. I could be on here talking about the same things that honestly most people in my industry are talking about right now: marketing, sales, this, that, all of that, because you're always going to need that. And that's not to diss anybody. I could be doing the same as usual right now. Most people do, especially right now in January. It's a very critical time of the year for all businesses, but especially service-based businesses. But I could see the writing on the walls, y'all. I could see it. I could see the writing on the wall. And it did not sit right with my spirit to move forward as business as usual. because I knew this is not fucking business as usual. This ain't that. Not for us. I want you to understand that right now we're at a moment that we have to fight back against an agenda that is looking to undermine our progress. I want you to understand that right now we have to be equipped to understand how to work together in a different way, very strategic way, in order to create opportunities to replace some of the opportunities that they are looking to take away from us. I think right now we need to understand how to be able to be better equipped and just to show up at the next level as business owners to be able to take advantage of the opportunities that remain, like with JP Morgan Chase and some of those other organizations like a Costco, for example, and those Apple and some of these other organizations that have said we ain't going nowhere. But that does mean that if there are less opportunities on the playing field, that means there's more competition for the opportunities that remain. That's just a reality. It's just math. So what I wanted to do, thank you, Dee, is that I wanted to really take a moment for us to really focus on how do we fight back strategically. You're exactly right, Rich Woman CEO. How do we come together as a Black community to share knowledge and resources? How do we begin to think about where we are in our businesses and how do we level up? How do we evolve to that next level of visibility, of excellence, of thought leadership and impact that we're making in our space, such that we are perceived as the complete badasses and leaders that we are, that will position us so that even in a moment of decreased opportunity and increased hostility, we can still go out here and kick some freaking ass. That's what I'm talking about. Right? I am not the type of person who is satisfied with just sitting here and talking about the problem infinitum. If I wanted that life, I would still be someplace on a college campus standing up in front of a blackboard or whatever they're using these days and saying, okay, this is the problem. This is the theory as to why we have the problem. No diss to my professors out there, but I'm just saying, I left that life for a reason. I left that life because I want to be about the life of, damn it, doing something about it. Bam. Lord, if that ain't the truth, I will shut up. We are a threat to their homemade mediocrity. Yes, ma'am. Bam. Well stated. So in that respect, I created something for you that we are starting on Monday. Honestly, I have not put more of myself in any other training that I've ever created. And I think it's because honestly, I think I was born to do this for this moment in these conditions. And when I really think about the diversity of my background, it just makes sense that given my experiences in the political space, in the advocacy space, my specific experiences understanding and doing research around the fight against affirmative action, so I know how the enemy thinks and I know their tactics. My work in entrepreneurship, not just in the development of my business, but in the development of others. My specific focus on our economic empowerment. it makes me believe that that unique set of experiences have uniquely prepared me for this moment. And because of that, I am working on right now, like literally, y'all, I'm serious. Normally, when I'm doing these trainings, the workbooks are out by now. All of it's done. Listen, I'm going to say unashamedly, I'm still working and tweaking because I want to make this as best as I possibly can. I have asked my father for guidance literally this morning. Give me some of your wisdom. How did you do it? And when I think about this, you all, I think about the fact that our parents lived through things, depending upon how old you were. Maybe it's your grandparents, okay? They lived through things. They fought some battles. They thought they won those battles to make life easier for us. So they did not think they needed to tell us the intricacies of everything that they did because they didn't think we'd have to fight those battles again. Am I right or am I right? They thought they did it so we wouldn't have to. But we have to. We have to. And what I'm saying is that we have just begun to fight. There is zero bit of retreat in me. In me. I'll say this one last thing and I'm going to let you guys go after I invite you again to join me on Monday. Okay. This is what I'm working on. I really think I was born for this moment. evolutionrevolution2025.com. Please join me there. But here is what I want you to understand. Well, here's something that I saw that I thought was very powerful. I'll say this. I was on, I guess it was Instagram the other day, and I saw this reel of this man in front of his house, and the person there was saying he was a veteran, and he was taking down the American flag, like the traditional American flag that we all know, and was raising a black flag. Like the flag was totally black. It was like an American flag, but instead of it being red, white, and blue, it was totally black. And the person said, "What does this mean?" And I was like, I've never seen one of those before. I don't know what that means. So I went to the Google machine. Modern day and age, there is this thing called Google. And I was like, well, what is a black? What is that? Let me tell you what it is. We all know that a white flag means what? Surrender. A black flag means resistance. A black flag means I will never give up. A black flag means I will die before I give up. A black flag means I am going to revolt. A black flag means I will fight to the end. I am telling you right now, this is a black flag moment. Ain't no damn way. Ain't no damn way. I am letting all that our people fought and died for centuries to be erased in this moment. No way. Ain't happening. It ain't happening. This is a black flag moment, y'all. Bring it on. We ready. It's time to fight. It's that simple. If you want to join me in this, I want to tell you a little bit about what to expect next week. I am providing an opportunity for all of us to come together where I can provide you with my perspective on what is needed in order to navigate this moment that is uniquely targeted to take us out. Those things that I know that we need to stand out in this moment and to be better equipped to compete in a more competitive and frankly dangerous space for our businesses. But that's only part of the reason why I'm having this. I'm also having this so that we can come together as a collective and start to think strategically around how do we create a space where we can work more strategically, cooperatively together, such that we can not only better be equipped to fight for the reduced opportunities that are currently in the playing field, but how can we create our own ecosystems to better be able to support one another in the recycling and the cycling of our own dollars with regards to how we do business, period. So it's a two-pronged goal here in which I am ringing the alarm to say, we've got to do this damn thing differently. We've got to rise to this moment. We've got to think creatively. We've got to do it differently. We've got to rise together or we will fall apart, period. And so if you've yet to register, it's completely free, but not valueless. Go to evolutionrevolution2025.com. There you can get the information. And if you want to register to join us, join us. If not, at least send it to somebody that you think this would be helpful for. And if you've already registered, send it to somebody that you think this will be helpful for. This has got to be, honestly, my hope is that this grows into a full-fledged movement. Sometimes what doesn't make sense begins to make sense. And when I say that, I mean, with everything that we have faced in our past and overcome, I know we can overcome this too. But I also know when I say what doesn't make sense begins to make sense, just to bring this full circle, I told you at the beginning, I knew when this year, towards the end of last year and the beginning of last year, I put a pause on everything. I was like, this is not a moment to continue with business as usual. And now I know why I had that feeling. And I'm glad I paused, and I'm glad I waited, and I'm glad I came to the epiphany to pull together a training like this, because each and every day it becomes that much more apparent that this is exactly what's needed in this moment. And you're exactly right. We shall overcome. So with that said, everyone, I hope you enjoy the rest of your Saturday afternoon. I am going to get back to work. I'm also going to go and get into the gym, because I will say yesterday was my first time in the gym in like a week, because I've been so sort of focused on this. And I was like, you know what? I need to get back into the swing of things, because we're going to need all of us for this fight. We need to be here fully, physically, mentally, spiritually. This fight is going to take all of us. Every bit of you needs to be at top level to fight in this moment. Take care of yourself out there. Take care of yourself. I need you to be your best self in this moment. Do you hear me? Thank you so much, Vet. All right, you guys, with that said, yes, ma'am, Rhonda, it's evolutionrevolution2025.com. It certainly is, L'Oreal. She says, this is their modern day version of destroying Black Wall Street. They are so mad it can't be stopped. You're exactly right. And let me just say one other thing, and this another thing that upsets me. There is this trend going on right now, it looks like, where Black women are going on laughing, oh, they're going to get rid of DEI. It doesn't matter what when they find out that Black women are the most educated. Do y'all really think they give a fuck about merit? Please do not operate under that illusion. It has absolutely nothing to do with merit. That's a lie from the freaking pit of hell. This is about them ripping away your opportunity, no matter how qualified you are. Let's just be very clear about that. So we have to think about this moment differently. We have to approach it differently. We have to think differently about how we create our own opportunities and how we take advantage of the remaining opportunities with our allies out there that are holding space for us. Do you hear me? So the name, go to evolutionrevolution2025.com. evolutionrevolution2025.com. As soon as you sign up, you're going to get a confirmation email, but you'll also get a thank you page that'll immediately pop up. Click on that. That'll send you over to our virtual group where we are literally introducing ourselves in that group as we speak so that we can already begin the making of connection even prior to the kickoff of the first training on Monday night. This is going to be exactly what you need right now to be equipped to not only fight, but to win. That's exactly, I'm putting every bit of all of me and all of my background experiences, even whatever support I can get from the ancestors to make this happen for you guys, okay? Because this is a moment that we need it. All right? So with that said, you guys, let me put this on so I can make sure I can read. You're right. Merit doesn't matter. With that said, you guys, Aaron, absolutely. Website link. Can somebody else drop it in? Aaron was asking about it. Also, you should be able to see it, but if someone can also drop it in the who's watching on Facebook so that Aaron can see it. I think I can. I'm gonna try to do it here. evolutionrevolution2025.com. All right, that is the link. Oh shoot, it goes on. There it goes, Eric. That's it. All right, you guys, with that said, I hope y'all have a wonderful afternoon. Enjoy yourselves. And the countdown is on. Less than about 48 hours away. For those of you who are already signed up, I will see you on Monday. For those of you who have yet to sign up, go ahead and get it done, and I will see you soon. All right, everybody, have a wonderful afternoon. I will see y'all later. Take care, everybody. Bye. Bye, bye, bye.